Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. You're probably wondering why I'm starting this video in my car and not in my apartment, and that's because I'm on my way to a garden center. Despite Ontario being in its 547th lockdown, garden centers are still open and I need some soil. I also want to see if they have any pea seedlings because I've tried germinating some from seed, but I think my seeds are just too old at this point. I think I've had them for maybe like 3 or 4 years, and I've tried 2 rounds of trying to get these seeds to germinate, but nothing's happening. So I want to see if they have any seedlings, or even if they just have like new seeds, that's cool too, because they sprout pretty quickly, so I'm not worried about not getting them out in time. I also haven't really explained what I'm actually doing today. So I'm kind of starting my vegetable garden. I'm basically just planting my cool weather crops outside. So that's stuff like my lettuce mix, my kale, Swiss chard, arugula, like basically all my leafy greens. So these are all crops that tolerate the cooler temperatures because it's still being quite temperamental here in Canada. Like last week it snowed and then was super sunny and like 15 degrees the next day. But that being said, even though they are cool weather tolerant, they do tend to grow a bit slower in cooler temperatures as opposed to if I was to try and plant them outside in warmer temperatures. But nonetheless, they'll still survive in this weather. I also got a Miracle-Gro seedling starting kit, and it's worked really well, like maybe almost a little too well, because a lot of my greens are actually getting too big and they're starting to overcrowd the other seedlings. So that was kind of my main motivation for getting my vegetable garden started this early. I want to move a bunch of the seedlings into containers outside so that the rest of the seedlings can have a chance to actually grow. I'll insert a clip here so you can see what exactly I'm talking about. The arugula is just gone absolutely crazy and it's starting to crowd out my basil and my dill, and I don't want that. So that's what we're doing today. And yeah, come join me on this journey to a garden center, aka the first time I've left my house in a while. Before we get into it, I just want to say that this isn't going to be a how to grow a vegetable garden video. I made a video about that last year, and I'll leave a link if you want to check it out and get some good tips. This video is more of a plant with me and talk about what I'm going to be growing this year type of video, so I hope you guys still enjoy it. First of all, I want to say that I'm blown away by how quickly the roots grow when using a hydroponic system. I'm actually struggling to get my seedlings out without completely tearing the roots, which is kind of hard to do with one hand. I'm just taking my arugula and Swiss chard seedlings out for now and leaving everyone else in there to grow a bit more. I'll have to transplant my basil and kale soon because they're also starting to get quite big. Okay, can we just appreciate my outfit? I feel like I'm living my best urban farmer life in these overalls. So here is everything that I'm going to be planting today. As you can see, I've grown everything in a variety of ways. Apparently, this is the year of experimentation. I've started my seeds in my Aerogarden, in egg cartons, and I've directly sowed some into containers. This is my lettuce mix, and I might have gone a little overboard with seeding. I originally wanted to fit my arugula and Swiss chard and potentially even my spinach into the same container, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen, which completely throws off my growing plan, but I'm just gonna wing it. I'm going to start with my 4 arugula plants. You'll see in a minute why I wouldn't have been able to do all of my leafy greens in one container because everybody would just be too crowded. I also started some of my lettuce mix seeds in egg cartons, so I'm adding those to sections of my container where the direct sowed seeds didn't quite take, just to fill in the space. With my lettuce mix, I'm not concerned about the spacing because I'm not planning to grow these guys into full heads of lettuce. I mainly just want them to be a smallish, medium-ish size when I pick them for salads. Up next is my Swiss chard. I directly sowed a few seeds into this white container in addition to the ones that I did in my Aerogarden, so I literally have like 20 different ways I started my seeds this year. I have a few more Swiss chard seedlings growing in my Aerogarden, but they're still quite small, so I'm going to be adding them to the container at a later time. So if you're wondering why the spacing in the container looks weird, it's just because I'm saving room for the future tenants. Also, yes, I could have kept the Swiss chard in the white container to grow, but I decided I wanted everyone to be together in this red container. It's okay. I don't fully understand my thought process either. And my camera died. And that's not the only thing that died. Unfortunately, my strawberries did not come back. I'm not sure what I did wrong. Maybe I uncovered them too early, or maybe it was just a case of bad luck. So I picked up these new plants from a local farmer a few weeks ago. I'm going to be bringing my strawberries inside overnight because while the plants themselves can be quite hardy to cooler temperatures, the flowers are not. I don't have any flowers on the plants at the moment, but I can see some buds where the flowers will start to form very soon. So I want to protect them as much as I can, because if you ain't got flowers, you ain't gonna get strawberries. Right now the overnight temperatures are kind of hovering between 5 to 8 degrees. My rule of thumb is that it should be a consistent 7 degrees or warmer overnight before I can leave everything outside. So even though my strawberries could handle it, I just want to take that extra precaution. On most nights, I'm going to be leaving all of my leafy greens outside because these guys can handle cooler temperatures, but if it drops down below 6 degrees, I'm probably going to be bringing them inside until the weather makes up its mind. Up next, I'm planting my sugar snap peas, and I have 12 seedlings, so hopefully that means I'm gonna have a big, bountiful harvest this year. My plan is to trail them up the back and the sides of my shelf, similar to how I did with my pole beans last year. I really liked the way that the green foliage looked on my shelf, and plus these guys like to climb, and it's the perfect spot for them to do so. I'm now planting my spinach babies into this one container. Again, I'm not super concerned about the spacing because I don't plan for them to grow into giant bunches. Plus, I just don't have any big containers left, so I'm working with what I got. And lastly, I'm planting my kale seedlings that I started in egg cartons. It's crazy to compare the egg carton seedlings to my Aerogarden seedlings because I actually started the ones in my Aerogarden a few weeks after the egg carton ones, and they've grown so much faster. I think it's safe to say that I've been converted to hydroponics instead of egg cartons to start my seeds from now on. My only issue is with the sphagnum peat sponges because even though sphagnum peat is good for plants, it's not the best for the environment. So if anyone knows of any alternatives, please let me know in the comments. And on that note, I'm gonna wrap up today's video. I'm sorry to leave you hanging, but I'm going to be doing a full spring garden tour once I have everything else planted outside and I've made my balcony look a little more presentable. Like and subscribe, I'll see you later. Bye!